Welcome back, friends, to PastQuest. This is real story of mom secrets. It was a quiet Tuesday morning. The air in the house felt strangely heavy, as if it carried a secret I wasn't meant to discover. Mom had already gone to work early, leaving her perfume faintly lingering in the hallway. Dad was outside in the garden, his favorite place, trimming the rose bushes with his old gardening shears. The silence inside the house made every sound seem louder. The ticking clock, the creak of the wooden floor. I was alone, and I had nothing else to do but wander through the rooms. I went into Mom's room, planning only to find some of my old books. Her closet smelled of cedar and faint lavender, the scent of years of carefully folded clothes. As I moved boxes and old coats aside, something caught my eye. Behind a stack of worn shoes, tucked away as if hidden on purpose, there it was, a small brown journal. The leather cover was soft, aged, and slightly cracked. It looked fragile, like it had been touched and opened countless times. I picked it up gently, brushing off the thin layer of dust that clung to it. My fingers trembled as I flipped it open. On the very first page, in my mother's neat handwriting, were the words, "Clara's private thoughts." My chest tightened instantly. I knew this was not something I was supposed to read. It was personal, intimate, something my mother had deliberately kept away from the world. But curiosity, stronger than my guilt, took over. My heart pounded louder than the ticking clock as I turned the next page. The first entry was dated 20 years ago. My mother was only 18 at the time. Her words were filled with the energy and innocence of a young woman in love. She wrote about a boy named Adrian. Her sentences glowed with affection. She described how kind he was, how funny he could be, how safe she felt in his presence. Every word was drenched in longing. She wrote that he made her laugh, made her dream, made her feel alive. She confessed she wanted to marry him. She dreamed of having children with him, building a future together. But then her tone shifted. Adrian, she explained, was poor. He worked as a gardener, a humble boy with no fortune, no grand inheritance. He had nothing but love to offer her. And love, it seemed, wasn't enough for her family. Her parents didn't approve. They wanted her to marry someone of status, someone who could provide wealth and security. And then his name appeared for the first time, Robert. My heart nearly stopped when I read it. Robert, my father's name. Mom described him as wealthy, respectable, and adored by her family. He had a big house, a polished car, and a life filled with promises of stability. But her words about him were cold, distant. She wrote, "I don't love Robert, but I need security. My family insists I must marry him. I feel guilty about leaving Adrian. But what choice do I have?" I felt my hands go cold. My throat tightened. The man she wrote about, Robert, wasn't just anyone. He was my father. I turned the pages faster, my stomach churning with unease. Mom described her marriage to Robert. She admitted she didn't love him but tried to be a good wife. Her words were filled with regret, yet also resignation. And then one entry made my entire world tilt. She wrote, "I saw Adrian at the market today. He hasn't changed. We talked for a long time. I still love him. I know it's wrong, but I can't stop myself." My pulse quickened. I turned the page with trembling hands. Robert had been away on a work trip. Adrian had come to the house. And Mom confessed what happened next. We spent the afternoon together. I made a terrible mistake. I was with Adrian, even though I am Robert's wife. I stopped breathing for a moment. I could feel the blood rushing in my ears. The next page shattered me completely. Mom had written, "I am pregnant. The baby could be Robert's, but it could also be Adrian's. I don't know what to do. Cannot tell anyone. I will never tell anyone." The journal slipped from my shaking hands and hit the floor. My entire body felt like ice. A baby. It was me. I might not be Robert's daughter. I might not belong to the man I had always called Dad. I ran to the bathroom, stumbling, clutching the sink as I stared into the mirror. For years, I had wondered why I didn't look much like Dad. He had piercing blue eyes. Mine were deep brown. He had straight, fine hair. Mine was curly, wild, impossible to tame. Mom had always dismissed my questions. She said I resembled her grandmother. But now I knew the truth. I didn't look like my grandmother. I looked like Adrian. Memories flashed through my mind. Adrian, our gardener, the gentleman who had worked for us until I was 10. I remembered how kind he was to me. How he used to pick flowers and tuck them into my small hands. How he taught me the names of plants in the garden. His voice soft and patient. His brown eyes had sparkled like mine. His curly hair had matched mine perfectly. One day, Adrian was simply gone. Mom had told me he moved away. But now I understood the truth. She had sent him away to bury the secret. To bury me. I sat on my bed, shaking, clutching the journal. What should I do? Should I tell Dad? Should I protect him? Or should I keep this secret forever? The sound of a car engine broke my thoughts. Mom was home. Panic shot through me. I quickly shoved the journal under my pillow, my heart hammering. "Hello, honey." Mom called cheerfully from the hallway. "How was your day?" I didn't answer. Couldn't. I stayed silent in my room, staring at the ceiling, my chest rising and falling in ragged breaths. That night at dinner I studied them both. Mom and Dad. They laughed together, sharing stories about their day. Dad held Mom's hand across the table. They looked like a perfect couple. Did he know? Did Dad suspect anything? Would he still love me if he discovered the truth? The food on my plate went untouched. The weight of the secret pressed so hard against me that I felt like I couldn't breathe. The next morning, I waited until Dad left for work. I walked into the living room where Mom was sipping her coffee. "Mom," I said, my voice shaking. "We need to talk." Her eyes narrowed immediately. "What is it?" I pulled the journal from behind my back. Her face drained of color. She put her cup down slowly, her hand trembling. "Where did you find this?" she whispered. "In your closet," I replied, my voice breaking. "Is it true? Is Adrian my real father?" Tears welled in her eyes. She sank onto the sofa, covering her face with her hands. When she finally spoke, her voice was so soft I barely heard it. "Yes," she said. "It's true." The world around me spun. Even though I had suspected it, hearing her say it made it real. My throat ached with the questions I wanted to scream. "Why did you lie to me? Why did you lie to Dad?" Mom's face crumpled. "I was young. I was foolish. I thought I was doing the right thing. I married Robert because my family wanted me to. But I never stopped loving Adrian." Her tears fell like broken glass. "I made choices I can't undo." Suddenly she stood. She snatched the journal from my hands. "This book is nothing but old mistakes," she said fiercely. "I don't want to remember that person I used to be." She walked to the fireplace and struck a match. "Mom, stop!" cried. But she didn't listen. She held the journal above the flames. The fire licked the edges, devouring page after page. 20 years of secrets burned into ash. "I love my family now," she said, her voice trembling. "You and your father, that's all that matters." We stood in silence as the flames ate her past. When it was gone, she turned to me. Her eyes were wild, desperate. Her voice shook. "Promise me," she whispered. "Promise me you will never tell your father. Never tell anyone. This secret must die with us." "Mom," I whispered, frozen. "Promise me," she demanded, louder this time, almost breaking. "If Robert finds out, it will destroy him. It will destroy us all." The weight of her fear pressed into me. The secret felt like a boulder crushing my chest. I promise," I whispered. Her shoulders relaxed. Relief washed over her face. But for me, the promise was a prison. That evening, Dad came home. He smiled at me warmly, asking, "How was your day, sweetheart?" I forced a smile, though it felt hollow. "Good. Just a normal day." At dinner, Dad told us stories about work. Mom laughed at his jokes, leaning against him like nothing was wrong. They held hands across the table. Dad looked so happy, so in love. He had no idea about the secret sitting between us. "You're quiet tonight," Dad said gently. "Are you okay?" "Just tired," I lied, forcing another smile. But inside I was drowning. I carried something too heavy to put into words. The truth about who I really was. That night, I lay awake in bed. The room was dark, but my thoughts were louder than ever. The secret pressed against me like an iron weight. I thought of Adrian, the man who was my real father, wherever he was, probably never knowing I existed. I thought of Dad, the man who raised me, who loved me more than anything, who would be shattered if he ever knew. And I thought of Mom, her tear-stained face, her desperate plea. "Promise me, promise me." The journal was gone, but the secret was alive. It lived inside me now. It would always live inside me. I had no choice but to pretend forever. To smile at Dad like I was his daughter. To keep this heavy, burning truth buried deep. 'Cause some secrets can be burned. But others, the darkest ones, never go away. They live inside you. They change you. And this one was mine to carry. Forever.
Thanks for watching PastQuest. If you enjoyed the journey into history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories from the past. See you in the next quest.